How's it going, everyone? Badger here, and thank the gods, because just as I finished recording a somewhat serious video covering that Film Thread article, the WGA writer that spoke out, I see Gary has dropped his Echo review. And Gary, who always says he watches everything twice for the review, he watches everything a second time. This is the one time he did not watch it a second time. That's how bad it was. So put that into your considerations, that all the horrible things he's watched, and Echo was the one that he couldn't stomach a second time. Let's go, baby. Gary, tell me what you thought.
Well, I'm an actor, so, I have to service the story that's put in front of me. I have to do my best to make the story written.
And it took
really
everything.
I have no acting experience.
Being somebody who walks around the world as a hearing person.
Because I remember growing up and watching things on the
we know that
screen,
she just
like
showed
the
up
guy who
to
played
the
this
audition. She
superhero,
has actually no
like
acting
more
experience.
people of color to be in the MCU.
I think so many people feel like this project might be checking boxes in some way.
A lot of them.
Deaf consultants, deaf actors, deaf writers, deaf consultants, deaf writers in the writers' room, deaf and indigenous deaf consultants, actors playing deaf and indigenous roles, deaf experience, deaf indigenous amputee girl,
deaf community, deaf
representation,
deaf representation,
More inclusive.
representation
Jesus
matters,
Christ.
indigenous
Hearing privilege,
tribal representation,
indigenous.
They are due a free sandwich on their diversity punch card. This was bingo. They won twice over.
Nerdrotic.com.
You would think after releasing the biggest flop in the MCU's history,
Didn't even make 200.
Disney Marvel would lay low for a little while, go radio silent. But no, it seems that the criticism coming from all of humanity concerning the MCU has fallen on deaf ears. So join me, you over 950.
I'm going to keep a running count of how many deaf jokes Gary gets in this 17-minute video.
50,000 awakening wonders and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Let's review another piece of Disney Marvel content. That's right. Despite having some reservations, Marvel went ahead with their big gamble. Not sure if you heard, but they released Echo, the ill-fated series that Kevin Feige himself said after its initial shoot was unreleasable.
Yeah, whittled it down.
Multiple reshoots and a massive delay. And still, there were rumors that Disney Marvel was considering not releasing it at all. But after Kevin Feige realized he war-painted himself into an identity politics corner,
that was the worst one.
Pipe trimmed it from 8 episodes to 5 episodes and dropped it all at once in the beginning of January on 2 streaming services. And it totally wasn't an attempt to boost what will be abysmal streaming numbers. And because it wouldn't be a Disney Marvel
they'll never
product
show
without having to do some homework, Echo is a spin-off from an MCU bait and switch series, Hawkeye, that
They'll never release the actual viewing numbers for Echo, I guarantee it.
nobody watched. That will turn into an MCU solo series that no one will watch. Okay, except for YouTubers. Based on a Z-list villain from the Daredevil comics that the showrunners felt so passionate about, they completely changed the character. When it comes to Marvel's Echo, director Sidney Freeland made a major decision. Maya Lopez would have different powers than she has in the comics.
Horrible
In an
decision.
interview with Variety, Freeland didn't want to spoil the changes she made, but made it clear how she felt about the original Echo's abilities. Her power in the comic books is that she can copy anything, any movement.
Oh, meanwhile, she gave her
any
such a
whatever.
worse one.
It's kind of lame. Sydney told the publication, I will say that's not her powers in the show. To be fair, maybe she misspoke. Maybe she meant make her powers lame, which she did. But we all know why they went ahead with the character Echo. She checks some boxes, but not enough apparently. They needed to add a couple. In the comics, she is a deaf indigenous female, and in the D+ series she's a deaf indigenous body positivity female amputee. While there's no official word on whether she's gay or not, it's
Those last
assumed.
two were just
And still,
bonuses.
the architect of the MCU, Kevin Feige, thought this was unreleasable, and after I've seen the fixed product, he should have stuck with that decision. But again, he can't, because he wouldn't get headlines like this. Marvel's Echo, a cultural triumph in native storytelling. Stars of Echo discuss Marvel's indigenous superhero spinoff. Chaska Spencer commends Echo for beautifully handled Native American representation. Echo star Alakwa Cox on Marvel bringing deaf and indigenous representation to the forefront, and why acting in
I mean, why is no one talking about the fact that Echo in the comics is from the Cheyenne Nation? The actress Alakwa Cox is from the Nimbin Nation. No one here is Choctaw. Why did they go with Choctaw? I hope Gary's probably going to cover it. There's a very specific reason why they went with the Choctaw Nation, tribe, whatever.
ASL was challenging, and it was challenging to watch. Marvel's Echo is an imperfect but wonderfully important show. And why is it important? Well, the answer is obvious and previously stated.
Representation.
Representation, representation, representation.
If you don't believe me, let's go to Marvel, who's taking a page out of the Rings of Power playbook.
Oh, that's
and hear
that
from
fucking
some
super
superfans
fan
who totally
trailer.
are
Yeah.
Influencers.
I love the fact that the main character was deaf and that I got introduced to a
April.
whole new world.
April O'Neil.
It was American Sign Language, it was Indigenous history, so it wasn't just an action show.
As a deaf person, I feel very proud to see that on screen.
Nice leading lady vibes.
Oof.
Very cool. It's the new MCU.
Someone signing in the middle of a fight was incredible.
So cool. If you're not
Yeah,
a
and it was
Marvel
stupid.
fan, this is a great way to be introduced to the Marvel universe.
Yes, again, it checks a lot of boxes. Unfortunately, it missed one. Good storytelling. All right, I put this off long enough. Let's talk about Echo, the show about a
Deaf, Indigenous amputee.
body positivity female superhero. Again, Echo was supposed to be an 8-episode series that was cut down to a 5-episode series, but technically it's a 4.5-episode series because the first 30 minutes of the first episode are a slightly more fleshed out.
If you skip through all the dumb shit, it's
from a
3
series
hours
you
and
didn't
15
watch,
minutes.
Hawkeye. The plot goes something like this. 5 months after the events of the Kate Bishop show, where Echo defeats Hawkeye and kills the Kingpin, the deaf Indigenous body positivity female amputee Maya Lopez is being pursued by the Wilson Fisk organization, leading her to return to her hometown in Oklahoma, where she must completely ignore the misdeeds of her past, including murdering a lot of people on the orders of the Kingpin, reconnect with her,
Which she never atones for. She has no hero's journey.
Native American roots, endanger her family and community, and embrace her inner girl boss to destroy more male Marvel legacy characters. From the initial trailer that everyone was impressed with,
That scene
Disney
at the
Marvel
end.
wanted everyone to believe that this would be in the same vein as Daredevil.
No, it was
especially when they
milquetoast.
touted that mature content warning.
This is a lie.
Straight up
Aside
lie.
from a couple of brief scenes, Echo would have been fine on the CW. The only potential violence is to the view.
It felt like a lot of her when she's there going around talking, all these scenes felt like CW or a Hallmark movie.
From being bored to death. The first 4 episodes are a slog and not even worth talking about. American Sign Language, or ASL, would work in an indie film or some Oscar bait movie, but not in a superhero show. You're constantly waiting for the character's ASLR to catch up to what you can read on the screen. It was more like ASLMR. And after that nearly 30-minute previously on, the vast majority of this series is filled with Alaqua Cox's stunt woman riding a motorcycle, excessively long montage scenes set to a pop.
It was a
song
lot of
with
wasted
characters we
scenes
don't
for
care
sure.
about looking sad, repetitive sweeping shots of the same mural, and lots and lots and lots of indigenous
That little angry one is the worst.
representation, only occasionally interrupted by pure cringe.
Kingpin had his run. It's time for Queen. He's handing me Queenpin.
Why? That's right. Maya Lopez
couldn't help
or
themselves.
Echo, the hit deaf indigenous female body positive woman who used to work for the Kingpin and now thinks he's dead, either wants to take down or take over his organization. Your guess is as good as mine. And as far as those cameos are concerned that director Sidney Freeland teased, well, there's a repurposed Hawkeye cameo from the Kate Bishop show, and yes, Daredevil.
Oh, and it was, this smells of the Daredevil before they canceled those 8 episodes and made them reshoot it.
In this corner, weighing in at 195 pounds, back in his proper red costume, is Daredevil. Finally facing off against his C-list comic book nemesis, weighing in at a flabby 150 pounds, Echo. In a...
And she doesn't have the excuse of having her comic book powers that would let her go toe-to-toe with Daredevil. And at that point in the story, she hasn't even unlocked her stupid new matriarch powers.
Attention shoppers, outside today we have Cripple Fight outside.
After the clearly out of shape Echo stands in with Daredevil
Oh,
for an
Daredevil.
inexplicable couple of minutes in the He runs away, never to be seen again for the rest of the show. But enough of that. Despite Echo being billed as a return to the gritty, grounded Marvel of old, which Kevin Feige had nothing to do with at Netflix, it ends up not even being a drama. It's just a series of events about indigenous family.
It's a Hallmark movie.
Who are all from the Chatwa tribe. There's Scully, Maya's step-grandfather, played by Graham Greene,
mispronounce
who, quite
it.
frankly, is the only good thing in this aside from Charlie Cox's Daredevil, but he only exists to occasionally share some
Choctaw,
wisdom
Gary,
with the
you boomer.
insufferable Echo. There's Henry Lopez, Maya's uncle, who also works for the King.
Twilight Wolf.
Owns a roller
Damn.
who doesn't want to help her until he does after being betrayed by his shoe cleaner. The only person Maya appears to like, but don't quote me on that because I'm not really sure, is Cousin Bonnie, who only exists to be a hostage, and Cousin Bonnie.
Echo was a
Maya's
bitch to
other
everyone.
Cousin is
Treated
Cookies
everyone
or
like shit.
Biscuits or whatever the hell his name is, who plays the obligatory Disney Marvel effeminate male assistant to our insufferable MCU protagonist. Maya's grandmother, Chula, is the only other character who seems semi-fleshed out. She's haunted by the death of her daughter. She has some mysterious
Dances with
powers,
wolves.
and she makes Maya's costume. Sorry to go all Chris Stuckman there and basically just say their names and give very little context, but those were the cards I was dealt.
Yeah,
This
they were all
brings us
really
to
shallow
Maya Lopez,
characters.
or Echo. In the comic books, Echo is from the Cheyenne tribe, but the showrunners felt so passionate about giving us an authentic indigenous experience, they changed it to the Choctaw tribe and cast an actress from the Menominee tribe. We learned that the deaf indigenous body positivity female amputee Echo lost her leg in a car accident as a child when a shard of glass broke off from the windshield. And I guess the child actress playing
That's
the
not how
role
glass
of
breaks.
Maya Lopez decided to channel the older Maya
Called
Lopez
safety
by
glass.
showing absolutely no emotion when this happens. I doubt the writers of this show know that windshields or windows don't break like that. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's highly improbable. What would have made more sense is just her leg being crushed in
That's the
car
funny thing, is
accident.
all you had to do was just have the car accident.
A casino would make more sense than this. But the dumb doesn't end there. Remember when I said series director Sidney Freeland said Echo's powers in the comics were lame? Quick reminder, Echo in the comics has photographic reflexes, basically the Taskmaster's powers. Any move she sees once, she can perfectly duplicate. Nothing original, but a hell of a lot better than what the hacks from this show came up with, echoing back to draw powers from past ancestors, and not just any ancestors, female ancestors. And yes, this is where the MCU kicks in.
This is
Throughout this 5-episode
why they
series that
switched
feels
the
like
tribes.
18 episodes, we get flashbacks to previous.
That one, this little brown one, this angry little bitch, the whole time with the worst, most angry bitch face, wants to win this match, not because she's talented, just like it's the most weird DEI scene ever. I don't really deserve it, but I want it, so that's why I deserve it, type of thing.
Previous ancestors, including the first Choctaw girl boss who led her people out of a spa after a mud bath with a woodpecker, followed by the second Choctaw girl boss from 1200 AD who was a female stickball player who with her tribe had to take on another tribe, which included the very first indigenous anabolic steroid user. Of course, she won the game because this is the MCU, never mind the fact that there were no female stickball players. So much for
Of course not.
authentic. The third Choctaw girl boss was the daughter of a light horseman.
Because then if you go, but that wasn't true to history, why do you care? It's just a comic book.
The rangers of the tribe who wanted to be a light horseman but couldn't because she's a girl. But she does it anyway because this is the MCU.
This was a
and
super
saves
painful.
all
It
the
was like
men from the
20
evil
minutes of this
white
silent
man with
movie.
A few easy shots and that signature Disney Marvel female protagonist smirk. The fourth Choctaw girl boss is Chula, Maya's grandmother, who had a fatherless pregnancy and gave birth to the fifth girl boss, Maya's mom, who was also deaf, and indigenous Jesus, who possessed the powers of healing. And you guessed it, in the Choctaw tribe, only women can draw on the power of other women in a time of need, but apparently they sat it out when the Choctaw tribe was moved from Mississippi.
Sorry if you
and
were in the
Alabama
Cheyenne
to
tribe and you
Oklahoma.
wanted
I guess they have
representation.
no problem helping out the
That's the big one. I hope he makes this point. All Native Americans are the same to these people who are virtue signaling. They don't see a distinguishing between the tribes, which is why they can just swap them all out.
Independent sociopathic murderer Maya Lopez. At no point in this show does Maya Lopez try to atone for her past?
No, she's
It's
a bad
bit of
person.
Moral quandary for anyone who lives outside of modern Hollywood. It's tough to follow around a protagonist who can't talk, can't emote, can't act, and who is completely unlikable. To be fair, any morality is a quandary for modern Hollywood because they lost the ability to pretend to decipher right from wrong a long time ago. Anyway, this brings us to the
Accurate.
one sole character anyone would even consider watching this show for. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Arguably, Disney Marvel's greatest villain was completely destroyed in the Kate Bishop show, and he returns to Echo to get destroyed some more. Somehow, Kingpin being shot nearly at point blank
Used
in
to be
the
so
eye.
intimidating.
Does he return to reestablish his empire and exact bloody vengeance, or does he come back to win the heart of the daughter who's not his daughter, who just so happened to try to kill him by begging her forgiveness, offering Echo his empire, and making her the Queen Pin? If you guess the latter, you're smart and you know your MCU. But it doesn't end there. At one point in the series, Kingpin asks Echo to kill him with the hammer he killed his father
And they don't even really sell this connection that they're supposed to have.
with. And she says no. After Maya spurns Kingpin's offer of seppuku, this is where Echo goes from just a boring show to full-on MCU crap.
Yeah, it's bad.
I am shocked.
It's cringy as fuck. Like,
Well,
it's
not
worse
that
than Endgame.
In the final battle, Kingpin brings his army to attack a local powwow to get Maya back. I'm not kidding. And if you didn't think things could get any worse with Gaia at the end of Secret Invasion, I raise you one indigenous girl boss, Voltron.
Yeah. It's like Rey from the last, like, I am all the Jedi. I am all the women.
And the MCU achieves maximum girl boss today, and Maya can even pass on her powers. Even Grandma.
You
gets
feel
shot at.
empowered?
The unrepentant murderer defeats the Kingpin again.
Rip this
by
off from
taking
Aang.
away his childhood trauma.
Avatar: The Last
and
Airbender.
making him cry. And this completes another chapter of Disney Marvel's hero's journey, where the hero was great all along. All Maya had to do was go back home and talk to her
They write all the women the
grandma.
same. They're always perfect.
And that's
They
pretty
always
much it.
have
What did we
no journey. The entire journey of their female characters, from Captain Marvel to Rey to this, is that they were awesome the entire time, and the journey is everyone else realizing that they were awesome.
learn? Disney Marvel still sucks, and indigenous people can now see their authentic selves in an unrepentant murderer. Despite all that, I still have some questions. Why in the hell would this security guard feel up Maya? No offense. Why did
Bro, let's just be honest here. She got a fat booty. Ain't no one complaining about her booty. I get you're married, or maybe you were offended by the writing, but like Alakwa Cox, the actress, she got a fine booty. Don't be talking about her booty.
Daredevil flee a crime scene with somebody who is still awake, who just committed a murder without at least questioning Maya? To be fair, it's not like she was going to talk. How did the guy who stood toe-to-toe with Kingpin,
He's on like 11, by the way.
Bullseye, and 100 ninjas have a hard time with a flabby 150-pound girl? Where were the Choctaw ancestors during that whole Manifest Destiny thing? How did a deaf body positivity amputee jump around a train before she connected with her powers? And why in the hell would you do Kingpin dirty like that by having him defeated again? Did Disney learn nothing from Kylo Ren and Kang?
Yeah, exactly. Good, a guy said it, because that's what I was thinking. Is like they keep trying to introduce characters and then they show them as weak and vulnerable. That's not how villains work. You can't introduce intimidating villains and then make them weak and vulnerable. Not at first. 3 movies before Vader showed a little bit of vulnerability.
Nope. And I guess the biggest question of all is, why in God's name would you release this, especially after the Marvels completely flopped? All jokes aside,
They had to.
Disney is doing overall
They
isn't
had to.
doing anyone any good. I don't blame Alakwa Cox or any of the actors. Some of the blame definitely goes to the writers, but most of it goes to Kevin Feige.
Yep.
Disney Marvel doesn't know up from down, good from bad, or right from wrong. Want an example? Yesterday, they decided to release a deleted scene from the Marvels where Valkyrie thinks the 16-year-old Miss Marvel is married to Captain Marvel and then makes a little joke at the end.
Hello? Oh, Captain, my captain. Oh, you're not my captain.
Captain Marvel resident assistant Miss Marvel speaking.
Wait, Mrs. Marvel. She got married again. And no invite again.
No! I'm Ms. Marvel. We're not married. That would be. I'm single.
Okay. 5 seconds
Should have said I'm underage and this is creepy. You talking to me like this?
to the jump point.
Oh, you might want to triple. I mean, shred in. Oh, you might want to triple. Oh, you might want to triple.
What did you say?
Kind of tough to argue that bad reputation at Disney.
And if you think, oh, it was just a joke, now in your mind, make a man say that to her.
Has earned. They're not just leaning into the South Park meme, they're bathing in it. And soon the investors will be walking the Trail of Tears. And once again, thanks to our latest installment in the MCU, it's clear to absolutely everyone, including Disney, that Marvel has gone off the reservation.
It's a different feel compared to what the other MCU stuff that we've
Ah,
seen.
she said it.
Nerdrotic.com.
She said it. Gary's a genius. Gary's the godfather. He is my mentor, even if he doesn't know it. Please go to his. All the things that are Gary. FNT, Real BBC, The Nooner with Chris Gore. You will come away a better person despite what these naysayers in the comments say. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you've done that, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you're going to do that, thank you. I really appreciate it. We will see you on the next one. Gary, I'll get off your coattails now. Thank you. Thank you. Until the next one, I love you.